You know that moment when you realise your living room hasn't been touched in 3 days, and the thought of cleaning it exhausts you before you even stand up? Not because you don't want to clean home, you absolutely do, but because your body has made it clear that the way you used to clean just doesn't work anymore. I'm Mason, and this channel exists specifically for that moment. Because managing a clean home when you're dealing with arthritis, chronic pain, limited mobility, or the kind of fatigue that sticks around no matter how much you sleep, that's not a lack of willpower. It's a mismatch between how cleaning is traditionally designed and what your body can actually handle. Today I'm showing you 10 straightforward adjustments that fix that mismatch entirely. If you're watching this, you probably already know that standard cleaning advice doesn't apply to you. Nobody wants to hear just power through it, or it'll only take an hour. You're not looking for motivation, you're looking for a better system. That's exactly what we're building together in this video. Foundation 1, the rolling unit. Let's start with something that sounds almost too simple but changes everything. Stop carrying your supplies. Think about what actually happens during a typical cleaning session. You're in the living room and realise you need the spray bottle from the kitchen. So you walk. You grab it, walk back. You finish with that surface and remember you need paper towels, which are in the bedroom closet. You walk again. By the time you've gathered everything, you've burned energy that had nothing to do with actual cleaning. You haven't scrubbed a single surface, and you're already feeling it. A rolling cart eliminates this entirely. We're talking about something simple. 2 or 3 shelves on wheels, lightweight enough to push with minimal pressure. You can find these at any home goods store for under $20. The goal is straightforward. Every cleaning supply you use regularly lives on this cart. Top shelf holds your primary spray bottles. Middle shelf, microfiber cloths and paper towels. Bottom shelf, floor cleaner, dustpan, brush, anything else you reach for constantly. When you're ready to clean, you roll the cart with you. One finger can do it. You sit down, reach to the cart, grab what you need, put it back, and move to the next area. You never lift it. This matters more than you might think, especially on the days when your hands swell or your shoulders are already protesting before you've done anything. The distinction between pushing a cart and lifting a caddy isn't huge on a good day. But on Wednesday, when your grip strength is compromised, that one difference becomes the entire system working or not working. One practical note, keep the cart visible. Don't store it in a cabinet or back closet. The moment it's out of sight, it becomes out of mind. Visibility is part of what makes this work. You see it in the hallway, and that visual reminder actually prompts you to use it. Foundation 2, reaching from rest. Here's what most cleaning systems get fundamentally wrong. They assume you're standing up. Traditional cleaning requires you to be upright at the sink, bending over to reach the bathtub, stretching to dust shelves. And that assumption cost you hours of discomfort and pain. What if you reorganized your entire approach around what you can actually reach without standing? In your living room, pull a lightweight chair to the center and sit down. From there, with a long-handled microfiber duster, you can cover the coffee table, seat end tables, lower bookshelves, entertainment center, nearly everything in that room without leaving your seat. You do this once or twice throughout the week, and your living room stays maintained without a single sustained standing session. In the kitchen, keep a small stool near your main countertop. Instead of standing at the sink or standing to wipe down surfaces after meals, you sit on the stool. Your back notices this immediately. More importantly, this actually makes you clean more thoroughly. When you're at eye level with a surface, you see what's actually there. You notice the sticky spots near the edges. You don't miss the corners because you've already rushed past them. You slow down, and slower cleaning's better cleaning. This isn't laziness, this is your body operating at its actual capacity, instead of pretending it has capacities it doesn't. That's not a limitation, that's honesty. Foundation 3, the accumulation problem in the kitchen. The kitchen is where most people with physical limitations hit their wall. The sight of it becomes so overwhelming that you avoid the space, which makes everything worse. Dishes accumulate, counters get sticky. Here's a system that prevents the spiral from ever starting: the soaking basin. Get a small plastic basin or container. Throughout the day, every plate, cup, and utensil goes straight into this water. Fill it with warm, soapy water in the morning and leave it on your counter or in your sink. You're not rinsing under running water. You're not loading the dishwasher 3 times a day. Everything just goes into the basin. You're not doing anything yet. The water is working while you rest. The soapy water starts working immediately, breaking down grease and loosening food. No hard scrubbing. No gripping a brush with stiff fingers trying to wrestle dried food off a plate. The work is already done. Once a day, maybe mid-afternoon, maybe evening, you spend 5 or 10 minutes wiping the already softened dishes clean. Here's the part I want you to actually hear. On the days when even the basin feels like too much, you have permission to rinse each dish with a damp paper towel and call it complete. Not ideal, not your preferred approach, but complete and acceptable. Some people get stuck on the idea that they need to do things the right way or not at all. That's the thinking that keeps kitchens from being maintained at all. The goal of this system isn't perfection. It's keeping your kitchen 5 minutes away from manageable, no matter what your body is doing. The basin handles most days. Quick wipes cover the rest. Together they prevent the accumulation that turns a small task into an hour-long project. I'm Mason, and this channel exists specifically for that moment. Thanks for watching. I'm Mason, and we'll see you in the next one. Now we move into something different, replacing effort with equipment that respects your actual needs. Tool swap 1, the trigger problem. Look at your spray bottles. Most people have the standard sizes, 16, 24, 32 ounces. These bottles require a consistent gripping motion on every single spray. If you have arthritis in your fingers or wrists, that trigger is working against you repeatedly. If your grip strength has changed over the years, which is normal, you're fighting the bottle more than you're cleaning the surface. The fix is genuinely simple. Buy small travel-sized spray bottles. 8 ounces. Transfer your cleaning solutions into these. The smaller bottle weighs almost nothing. The trigger requires far less pressure. You can hold it between 2 hands if that helps. You can brace it against your palm. You can find these at any dollar store for next to nothing, and you'll want 3 or 4 of them. Label them clearly. 1 for the kitchen, 1 for the bathroom, 1 for glass. This is a small change, but small changes that happen every single day add up to a fundamentally different experience over time. Every time you reach for your cleaning spray, you're not fighting a heavy bottle with a stiff trigger. You're using something designed for the actual strength you have right now. That's the whole point of this tier. Not dramatic overhauls, but smart swaps that compound. Tool swap 2, the floor question. If you're still using a traditional string mop, this is your sign to step away from it. Traditional mopping means filling a bucket, dragging it from room to room, and squeezing out the mop repeatedly. Wringing a mop is genuinely demanding work. It requires sustained pressure from your wrists, shoulders, and lower back. It was never designed with aging joints in mind. The swap is a flat microfiber mop with a telescoping handle. You've probably seen these. The cleaning pad sits flat on the floor, and you push it forward in long, easy strokes. No bucket, no wringing. When the pad is dirty, you pop it off. Most have a foot release. You rinse it or toss it in the wash. The handle adjusts to your height so you keep your back straight the entire time. For most people, this single change is meaningfully faster and noticeably less physically demanding than a traditional mop. Will it feel effortless on a terrible pain day? Probably not. Nothing will on those days. But on an average day, the difference is significant. And here's the practical part. On the days when even the flat mop feels like too much, a quick dry pass with the microfiber pad picks up a surprising amount of debris. It's not a deep clean, but it keeps the floor from getting ahead of you. If your floors are hardwood, tile or laminate, this one swap will change your entire weekly routine. Tool swap 3, rethinking the bed. Making the bed every morning seems like a small thing. But if you've ever tried to make a full bed with a bad back, stiff fingers, or limited shoulder mobility, you know exactly how much of a physical ordeal it actually is. It can take 10 to 15 minutes of fairly demanding physical work before your day has even started. 2 changes reduce that to almost nothing. First, sheet suspenders. These are small elastic clips that attach under the corners of your mattress and grip your fitted sheet in place. No more fighting with corners that pop off overnight. You attach them once and they stay. Your fitted sheet remains perfectly positioned. Second, switch to a duvet with a zippered or snap-close cover. Instead of wrestling with separate layers, you have one piece. It opens flat. You lay it over the bed, you're done. No shaking, no stuffing. Making your bed becomes a 90-second task instead of a 10-minute one. These changes preserve your morning energy for the rest of your day. There's something genuinely important about starting with a made bed. It creates a sense of order and intention that carries forward into everything that follows. You get to have that feeling without paying for it physically. Tool swap 4, the bathroom without kneeling. The bathroom is the room most people find hardest to clean. Traditional cleaning involves getting down on your hands and knees, reaching into tight corners, using products that require real scrubbing pressure. We're going to eliminate the kneeling entirely. For your toilet bowl, drop a cleaning tablet directly into the tank. Not the bowl, the tank. Every time you flush, a small amount of solution releases. This prevents build-up, controls odour, and maintains the inside of your toilet without you ever picking up a brush. Every 3 or 4 weeks, add a new tablet. For the outside of the toilet, the base, the seat, the handle, keep a container of disinfectant wipes on the back of the tank. Once a day, pull one out. Wipe down the surfaces from a standing position, drop it in the trash. 30 seconds, no kneeling required. For your tub and shower, switch to a foam spray cleaner that clings to the surface. You spray it on from a standing position. You let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes while the formula breaks down soap scum and buildup. Then you wipe it away or rinse it off. No scrubbing, no crouching, no pressing your weight into a brush while your knees object. Will your bathroom be as thoroughly deep cleaned compared to scrubbing on your hands and knees? Not quite. I want to be honest about that. But will it be genuinely clean, consistently maintained, and free of the build-up that creates much bigger jobs later? Absolutely yes. The bathroom becomes a space you maintain rather than a space you dread, and maintenance requires a fraction of the energy. Thanks for watching. I'm Mason, and we'll see you in the next one. We've covered the physical foundation, but here's what most people miss. Tools alone aren't enough. The reason cleaning gets abandoned isn't always physical. Sometimes it's the overwhelming feeling of not knowing where to start. Sometimes it's the guilt of skipping a day that quietly becomes skipping a week. Sometimes it's just the weight of doing everything alone. The next approach addresses all of that. The mindset layer, one space at a time. Most productivity advice tells you to clean in timed sessions. 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. Set a timer. Stop when it goes off. Feel accomplished. But for many people managing chronic pain, fatigue, or the emotional weight of living alone, time-based cleaning creates a specific problem. Think about how it actually feels to clean a little bit of every room, and then stop. You walk back into your living room. It's still half done. The kitchen counter is wiped, but the floor isn't swept. That visual incompleteness follows you around all day. It can actually feel worse than when you started. Now imagine walking into one completely finished room. The bed made, the surfaces clear, the floor clean. You did that. The whole thing. That feeling isn't small. That's the feeling that makes you want to do it again tomorrow. Choose one room on any given day and clean only that room completely. Not perfectly, but completely. Pick up what doesn't belong. Wipe the main surfaces. Straighten whatever needs straightening. Vacuum or sweep if you have the capacity. Then stop. If you only have energy for the living room today, clean the living room. Tomorrow the kitchen. The day after the bedroom. By the end of the week, your entire home has been refreshed. Not in one exhausting session, but in several gentle, complete ones. The activation step. Sunday setup. This takes 10 minutes once a week, but it has a disproportionate effect on every cleaning session that follows. Choose one day and walk through your home, pre-positioning your tools for the week. Put a microfiber cloth in the bathroom. Leave your flat mop near the kitchen entrance. Set your small spray bottle on the living room shelf. What you've just done is eliminate every single setup step from every cleaning session during the coming week. The real reason people skip cleaning on tired days isn't that the task itself is too hard. It's that the friction of getting started is too high. The Sunday setup removes that friction. The hardest hack, permission to ask. I saved this for last because it's the most important. There's a particular kind of self-reliance that many people carry into their later years. But here's what that pride costs you. You spend every bit of energy fighting through tasks that genuinely require 2 strong hands, a fully mobile back, or sustained effort that chronic pain doesn't allow. Keep what you can do. Let go of what costs you too much. Protect your energy for the things that matter. That's not a compromise, that's the whole system in one line. 10 strategies, 3 categories. One idea. Your home should work with you, not against you. You don't need to clean the way you cleaned at 40. You don't need to exhaust yourself to deserve a clean and comfortable home. You just need a system that's honest about where your body is today. Leave a comment below telling me which strategy you're trying first. I genuinely read every comment. If you haven't subscribed yet, one tap, it's free. Take care of your home. Take care of yourself.